One, yeah. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Quebec City here as we begin the playoff rounds for the Australian teams. So we have in the women's final 16, game number 206. It's been a long week. Didn't realise we'd got through that many games. We've got Australia in the black facing off against the finalists from the European champions last year, the Spanish. Both teams have had fairly consistent round robins, so this should be an absolute cracker of a game here this morning. We've got a lovely sheet there telling you who's who numbers wise, and best of luck to both teams. Let's hope we get some good hockey, and let's hope I don't stuff up in terms of cutting cameras and talking at the same time. So it looks like the Australians with the first hit there, looking for a bit of a charge through the middle. Good bit of rough and tumble going on. Both teams trying to establish some dominance. Hannah, the Gangle Robertisso, comes out with it, feeding it to her winger, the Honey Badger Vanderwood there, who gets it back into the centre. It's a nice 45 from the Aussie girls there. But good defence from Spain, sweeping that one wide and taking it over to the safety of their sub-bench. So excellent start for them there. The Aussie girls getting some good pressure, but good defence from Spain as we see the Australian girls looking for a bit of a switch, a bit of a fumble there from the kooky left-hander, Caitlin Ten-Bensel there, just dropping the puck behind her. Spanish cycling good numbers behind the puck as the Aussies continue this angry 45 drive. It spills back to the fullback there. It looks like Tori Wickham. We've got a call from the surface. Looks to be a gloving infringement against Spain, so an excellent chance here for the Aussie girls in front. We'll see if the Spanish can set up nice strong defence and try to sweep this one wide, no doubt. We've got the ref's hands, nice early signal, bit of disorganised Australians there as we see the Spanish getting down. Nice swerve from the Honey Badger. Lots of Spanish players behind the puck though, a lot of strength there for them to be able to look to sweep that one wide. But it's spilled back. That looks like Phoebe Stewart, is it? Oh, and she's thrown a bit of a duff flick at the tray. There's a lot of pressure here from the Aussies, but the Spanish still managing to keep those numbers behind the puck. Oh, Caitlin Ten-Bensel just losing it there. Looks like Eliza Game on the corner of the tray, but a good defence from Spain as they sweep that one wide. And hello, Greg Biffin there on the screen. Let's cut it out. What do we got? We've got number 6. Free arm, Australian free puck from the looks of it. Did we get a kick out on that one? No, we're just signalling the number. That was all. So we go back. Aussie girls set up a bit quicker this time. Spanish a little slow getting to the bottom. Not a great flick, but it's done the job. It's got into the slot. The girls are down. We do have a signal on the surface. I think I'm not really sure if he's signalling a penalty shot or he's doing one arm or... It's an interesting signal. Referee going a little bit off book there and not really giving the commentators much to work with, as it's going to be against the Australian girls. But I'm not really getting much from the refs there, so we'll just go with cheating on that one. So Australia now setting up their defence. There's a chance for the Spanish to clear it out of their end. Nice flick to the outside and finding some space for that Spanish forward. Good swimming. As we see, nice switch from the Aussie girls. Spanish quick to get out there and put some pressure on it as they try and release that wing, and they've got it there. As we see, it looks like Hannah the Gangle again, grabbing that one, and good defence from Spain, but Honey Badger there, rolling it off, looking for support. Looks like Marie there as the fullback, plucking that out, giving it out to the half, which is Tori Wickham now, who pulls back. Nice little move inside. And once again, the Spanish getting down and just slowing that drive down. Lovely flick through. Robertisso, though, just dropping it behind her, just getting a little bit goal hungry on that one. Good defence from Spain there, managing to keep the bottom time and just keep a bit of control of that corridor as we've got a ref's timeout here. And we've got a subbing foul against Australia. So I think that's Janine, is it? The Belgian ref on the deck there in charge of this one as the chief ref. So Australia have had a bit of trouble with their subbing throughout this tournament. I think they're coming into the box from the side as opposed to through the front of the gate, which is why they keep getting kicked out for that one. But still an Australian free puck in the corridor in front of the Spanish goal. So good position here for Australia. We'll see if Spain can keep up this strong defence. Mason Gillespie bagged the wife. Good idea. No, look, it's constructive feedback, Mason. I'm sure Hannah will watch this game later and she'll take it on as we see a little bit of use of the head there from the kooky left-hander, Caitlin Ten-Betzel. Good time, bottom time from Robert Tissot. But once again, just losing the puck. A little bit overly enthusiastic there as I'm joined by my brother-in-law, Jack Robert Tissot, in the commentary booth here. Welcome, Jack.
Welcome, Nick. How are we going here? Looks like the girls are fighting hard on that tray, but Aussie just desperate to score there. Spain doing a very good job
Phoebe
to keep
Stewart.
it out.
Oh, God, what's she doing?
Bit of hesitation there. It might have just cost the Aussies that opportunity.
Oh, it's a lovely steal, but if this becomes an Australian free puck, we'll be a little disappointed, but it's not. It's going against... Yeah, good idea. I'm getting some instruction. We've got a warning, number 2. So we're going against Australia for a free arm there. And it looks like Robert Tissot calling a timeout there, Jack. Any thoughts on the use of the timeout at this point in the game?
I think it was a good timeout. I have to be critical about the actual execution of it by Robert Tissot. You can see the arms quite low in the water, quite a kind of small, weak timeout call from her. Good to see good clearance in the arms for a timeout call. Make it really clear to the ref what you want from them.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to go fully down the panic approach. You often see teams raising their arms and just yelling at the deck ref and really putting it out there. But look, we have had family conferences about the quality of the timeout calling. And look, I'd like to see Hannah just a bit clearer, get that sign, and really make it happening. So
yeah, did look a bit casual from Hannah at that point.
Yeah, and we have Hugo Crispans Chavez there helping with the assistant chief ref duties, just gently stroking his beard. He's looking a handsome figure on the side of the pool.
He does look good. He has trimmed his beard recently. I think I was looking at it just yesterday and it was a little bit scruffy kind of on the neck portion of the beard, but he's tidied that up nicely for today's game, which is good to see.
He's doing a fantastic job with the refs this tournament as one of the local club reps, as we see the Honey Badger lonely in defending that one as Spain once again look to attack this left side wall. The Aussies taking possession but just electing to kind of shut it down there. Tori Wickham pinning it on, but good bottom time from Tori as she stays down, and that looks like one of the Sarahs there, Jack, making a bit of a drive, but good strong defence from the Spanish number 6.
Comes across and it's a nice 45 there to the Ganglo herself, who's picked it up, pulling back and driving across that tray. She's going to need to pull it back in if she wants this attacking drive to continue, but she's happy to shepherd that one out all the way to the wall there, and it is a call.
I think she got dispossessed on that one, and my guess is it'll be a stick infringement. Yeah, against number 5 there, Hannah Robert Tissot. Good intent to swim that puck wide, but just getting outpaced by the Sphera wearing Spanish there. As we see the Australians getting pushed back on the Spanish 5 and 2. As we're 9 minutes into this first half here, and probably the Australians with the upper hand at the moment, but certainly the Spanish defence not really showing any sign of cracking anytime soon, Papa.
No, those Spaniards, they're fighting hard on the goal tray and really keeping the Aussies out. But I think the Australians just happy to be in control of puck possession at the moment, moving it well on the outside edge. But I think that's a Sarah Walker getting dispossessed there on the outside. Lucky, but the Honey Badger has dropped in for support and they've managed to consolidate possession on that wall. It
definitely seems like the Spanish winning the numbers game in terms of bottom time at the moment, but probably the Australians just in control of the momentum and the intent. As the Honey Badger, a little unorthodox on the curl, but manages to maintain a bit of possession, and it's kept in the contest. But once again, good, solid defence from the Spanish there. Obviously, Spanish coming off a great performance, making the grand final at the Euros last year, Jack, as the Australian fullback there dispossessed, and Spain go on a bit of a counter-attack here.
Good work by the Spanish player there. She's managed to keep hold of it for a good part of that run until her support could drop round her. It's always tempting as a forward when you make that steal to really turn the jets on, but you can actually isolate yourself. The Spanish player did a really good job there of actually waiting for her support.
Yeah, it looks like the Honey Badger there, just a little unsure, came out of the burrow, maybe a little bit bright. See, look at that timeout. There's the yelling, there's the arms in the air. There's a lot of that's too urgent for me. I think she's gone too far. You know, Hannah obviously cut it down a little bit. She was a little too subtle. I think somewhere in the middle was a happy medium.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the timeout, the kind of the shape the arms make, that was definitely kind of a capital O from the Spanish coach. And Hannah was kind of like almost an inverted C against the surface of the water. What you want is a nice zero, somewhere in between the two. But the Spanish have called a timeout here. And what do you reckon they're going to be saying? What do you reckon that coach is wanting to communicate at this point, Nick?
Well, I mean, it's obviously it's an interesting time, the timeout. You've got a lot of options. You can go for the huddle. You can go for just the gentle, kind of controlled. See the Spanish coach going for the angry point, but then combining it with a soft OK signal. So mixed messages from the coach there. It'll be interesting to see how the team interprets that.
There's a subtle psychology to a timeout, and I think she's gone for a bit of both, which can ironically go both ways for you. You can get a good result from that, but also you can confuse your players.
Okay, we'll go back to the bottom here. Everyone down early on this one. So really first time the Spanish have put pressure into the Australian half here, as we see good numbers staying down behind the puck for the Spanish, and they're really managing to keep it in the corridor well. It's a great drive from them here, and not a lot of Aussies behind the puck, as it's the Gangle who wins the bottom time battle there. That's good work from Hannah staying down, but we've got a signal on the surface here. Referee on the backside of the play is looking for someone in particular. We've got an obstruction call and a warning. Looks like it's against number 2 for Australia there, which is one of the Sarahs, I believe. Yeah, cool. We've got a lot of game sheets here. So number 2 from the women's in USA is Kim Skookers, and number 2 from the Netherlands is Valerie Valentin. But we can't give you who the number 2 for Australia is at this point in time.
I'm fairly sure it is a Sarah Walker. Liza Gunn coming out hard on that sweep, and let's see if the Aussies can clear this one out a bit more distinctly. But the Spanish putting in a great drive, but it is an Australian forward that ends up swimming off with it. It's another infringement.
Yeah, you'd have to think this will go against Australia here, given that they had advantage. Yep, so we're getting an obstruction call against Australia, and a great opportunity for the Spanish here to really put the Aussie girls on the back foot on the tray. And we see Spanish not taking it super. Oh, lovely hit from Eliza Game, but good bottom time from the Spanish girl, reaching back, protecting that one, feeding it back into the maul as they keep it in the middle. The Honey Badger with a bit of rough and tumble. Well, they're electing for the kind of curl across the tray. The Badger, good bottom time from Alice Vanderwood there, staying down and making that one safe for Australia. What was a very dangerous attack from the Spanish, and good bottom time from the Spanish girls there, Jack.
Yeah, look, I think everybody really wants to take control of that bottom, and I think this is where the game will be won and lost. We can see that the Australian girls just maintaining that position and being rewarded with clean possession at the end of it. Always a struggle in 3 minutes to get to the bottom, so once you're there, you really want to make the most of it.
Yeah, so it looks like an Australian free puck now. Spanish girls setting up to cover the corridor from the looks of it. Looks like Phoebe Stewart coming down, looking to her left, a little glance, and she finds, I think that's probably Marie on the outside as the Aussie girls look to work that far wall for a second. The Gangle pulls it out, hesitates just for a second there and probably loses a bit of the initiative. Eliza Game unable to settle the puck. But good support there from KTB. Little Caitlin Ten Bensel, the little left-hander, a nice little 45 move into nice pullback from Hannah to then get that left side wing away as the Australians spread the Spanish. But once again, Spanish just good at recycling and getting one player to put pressure on that outside there, Jack. Yeah,
really good movement from the Australians. I do like to see that backline to forward line movement and the consolidation, although they have just coughed it up in the backline, but again, stolen back by the Australian half. He's happy to chop back into the middle. Great bit of movement. I think that's Zoe Canavan there,
that's
Nick.
Fantastic work from Zoe there. She really has shown that she's got the legs and the fitness to get those kind of drives going and the intent to look inside. She's been an asset for this Australian backline this tournament.
Good little section of passing, but they've just again coughed up possession. The Australians doing really well to get it back, but they're going to really need to either turn that string of passes into a drive or continue it cleanly if they want to make the most of that possession, Nick.
Yeah, good second, third efforts from Tori Wickham there as we see Marie bring the puck inside off the wall. A nice simple movement from her there, but forwards unable to maintain that possession as the Spanish come through with a strong hit. We've got a signal from the refs though. Number 12, stick infringement against Spain. So chance for the Aussie girls to reload here, Jack, with just over 4 minutes left in this game.
I'll tell you what, Nick, the Aussie girls are going to want to score soon and really lock in their possession lead on the scoreboard. Interesting to see what they go with this on the free puck. They are close enough for a consolidated drive, but I imagine they will spread it wide again.
Yeah, so a little moment of confusion between the half and the wing there as who was picking it up, but KTB staying down and keeping it angry. Hannah with a nice hit, but unable to maintain the possession off that as we see breaking. No, playing advantage for an illegal knockdown. So the commentator's error there, confusing the breaking signal with the advantage signal. So we've got advantage being played, but it's a Spanish free puck.
Spanish electing to have a forward take this puck and kind of keep it in the front of their bats. But they've swum straight into that kooky left-hander who's just maybe wrong-footed them as it is recycled through the Australian backline in a big switch, using forwards and backs to move it all the way across the pool. But it has been intercepted by the Spanish there, and it's turned into a bit of a contest as the Aussie girls look to consolidate. But the Spanish getting to the breakdown with a bit more intent there, Nick.
Yeah, we just see a little bit of confusion once again of whether to pass to that Aussie halfback or to the wing there. And then just a little bit of weak position where we're reaching back for the puck by the Australians, whereas the Spanish staying flat, staying strong, and getting the drive against them. And the Spanish have got themselves into a good position here on what looks like the Australian 5-2 with offensive free puck pupper.
Yeah, and again, I think the Spanish will opt for that forward press off their free puck, keeping in front of them and just looking for that bottom time battle and maintaining possession and eventually trying to force that puck in. The Australians sweep that out to the back left corner, and it looks like it's been defended. Usually once you've slid it behind that first line, you should be safe, but the Spanish managed to reload around the outside. This is very dangerous for the Australians, Nick.
Yeah, good bottom time from both teams, and both teams flat and strong, and an excellent contest. Great aggressive pressure, but well defended by the Australian girls is the final outcome of it. As we see a bit of a drive down the wall here, and we should see some fresh subs come in and a bit of an Australian run here. It looks like we've got the Badger.
Badger tucking
bit
and
outside,
burrowing.
and she's found Eliza Game, who has shown, is that Eliza?
I think that is Eliza.
Yeah, who's shown she's got some good speed, and she is away. But we've lost a bit of, not enough gas there to follow it up. We've got to lay back to Wickham, who drives the 45 with time. Spanish are dropping behind it, but they are coming in a bit late. Wickham with the second effort. Finds KTB now. If we can see some Australian movement to the centre. Bit of a drive at the tray here. Dangerous spot for the Spanish. They are getting the numbers in behind again. They've shown that they can defend this goal tray. Lovely curl, but a bit of a fumble, and once again just a little bit of a lack of support there for the Aussie girls, and the Spanish showing they've got a bit more will in that 3-metre D there, Jack.
Yeah, but the Aussies reloading here. The Badger. She's seen those goals and she loves to burrow in, and that'll be an Australian goal. Great work by the Aussie girls.
Fantastic support from the Australian fullback there. Unlucky for the Spanish ladies. They'd shown they've really got that strong defence in behind there, but excellent backup from the Australian backs to get in there and help out that forward line pupper. And with 40 seconds left in this half, that will be the score that will go into half-time, we think, Jack. And good to see the Australian ladies, from our side, obviously, manage to capitalise on what has been a good possessive control from them. But unlucky for the Spanish girls, who've had a couple of great opportunities of their own, and it could have very easily been the other way around at half-time here, Jack.
Yeah, you look at that play, Nick. It actually started on the off the back of a Spanish free puck that was defended by the Aussies, and they maintained that drive all the way up the pool. You actually saw how tired the Aussie girls were as they got to the end of that play. Eliza Game's very fast legs kind of running at about half speed.
Oh, Jesus, I've got a cut. With 10 seconds left on the clock, it's often a bit of a mute strike, Jack. Do you like to, is there anything in particular you like to do at half-time when there's that 10 seconds of play to go?
For me, it's all about maybe a bit of a showboat. When you get to the puck, maybe show off some of those hand skills that look great but hugely impractical. Maybe a bit of under body, kind of try and flick yourself in the head, something like that. Just keep it fresh for the fans.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we do want to keep them happy. So I'm being instructed at this stage to plug the GoFundMe. So I've been watching a fair bit of the streaming back in my room when I'm not down here supporting our teams, and it's been very nice to be able to grab games for free off YouTube. But obviously nothing is for free in the world these days, Papa, and it takes time and effort and money to put these things together. And similar to what we did in Hobart, the guys have set up a GoFundMe here to try and raise some funds to help cover the costs of basically what is a World Championships that is funded out of the back pocket of the players.
Exactly right, Nick, and they've done a great job, and you can see all the software on the screen right now, all the scoreboards, all the timing, all this sort of stuff has been developed entirely by the streaming crew. So let's support their work give them a little bit of pay for what's a lot of work. And whatever they've kind of scraped together in terms of funds, it won't be enough to cover the time that people have invested in this stream. I know that from personal experience. So if you are watching this stream, if you are enjoying yourself, just throw in whatever you can. It all kind of comes together. I know there's been a lot of viewers, and if everyone just gives a little bit, it'll make the streaming better in the future, as well as rewarding the hard work for this comp.
Yes, and look, massive shout out to anyone who has donated. If you have donated, feel free to chat away in the YouTube chat, and we will give you a shout out, and we will shamelessly plug anything you need us to plug. That's how cheap Jack and I are. Looking at the commentary there, we've got a few familiar names. Alfredo, my good Argentinian friend from Hobart. It's great to see you in there watching, Alfredo, and your presence is sorely missed here in the commentary booth. I'm going to throw a stab out and say Sam, maybe Sam Thompson, potentially. You know, he's a bit of a get-in. Stepo 94. Are we thinking Ben? Are we thinking Nick? Which one of the Stepkoviches is it? I mean, there's some anonymity there. Greg Biffin. I mean, could that possibly be Greg Biffin?
Could be. Yeah. It is always a classic misdirection, though, to claim somebody else's name in a stream chat and kind of put on that cloak of anonymity.
I know you do often like to do that, where you will maybe randomly post up some provocative things into a chat using your mum and dad's combined, or even the Hunter Island Press, obviously is a good anonymity for you there, Papa. But,
look, you know, being provocative on the internet is it's all in good sport. But so far we haven't had much provocative chatter in the comments. We have one question about the two pieces in the bathers from Yvonne Biffin. I think the answer to that question is we let them choose whatever they want to wear.
As we will just let that banter fade off into the background as we get underway here in the second half in what has been a fantastic first half, Jack, and we're looking to see more of the same in this second half.
Yeah, the Aussies, I think, really wanting to just slow this game down as much as possible there. The Spanish are playing with a lot of intensity, and I think the Aussie girls will be happy just to control that and take control of the game's tempo.
Yeah, look, it's been great to see that when either team has got possession of the puck, both of them are actually executing their plan really well. You can see the Australians there really looking to, when they've got that possession, they're spreading it and using a bit of space they can find on the outside. And at the same time, the Spanish, when they're getting the numbers down, they're really keeping it tight in that corridor and getting a good, strong drive going. So I think both coaches will be pretty happy with how their teams are going at this stage. And I think it's really going to come down to who can maintain that execution and that focus for this next 14 minutes, Papa.
Yeah, I tell you what, whatever the result of this game is, it won't be for lack of trying from either team. You can see a lot of fatigue on the bottom already at half-time, which means the girls are working very, very, very hard. Of course, once you get to these knockout stages, there's nothing left in the tank after every game. As we see the Aussies take control of that puck and just start to move it down that right-hand wall, looking for some support there, laying it back, but straight into the Spanish structure, Nick.
Yeah, obviously we're underneath the Aussie sub-bench there, so you'd expect some fresh legs to come in here shortly and get it away. They're quite happy to just keep pushing the wall at this stage. As we get a signal on the surface, we're going to get obstruction. Someone is going to the bin, and it is against Australia, and it looks like it might be your sister there, Jack, who's been pulled for obstruction and being sent for, I think that was a minute. So the Aussies, I think they're down to 4 here, are they? They are, as the Honey Badger is already in the bin for another 12 seconds. So good opportunity for Spain here, Jack.
Yeah, it is a good opportunity for Spain, and this is where they really need to step up because the Aussie girls have been defending very, very well. So take those two forwards out of the equation, and suddenly you've got a real opportunity.
Well, fast and loose from the Australian backs there as they just chip it in behind. As we see the Honey Badger coming from the sin bin as they manage to kill that 12 seconds. And the Gangle actually receiving 2 minutes for that obstruction on the wall. And so she'll be out for another minute 30. So Spain with a power play here for a little bit longer.
It is exactly where the Australians want it to be. Just pinned up against that wall near their sub-bench. They can really contain it, reload, work their fresh legs over, and the Spanish will fatigue so far from their sub-bench.
As the Honey Badger goes for a little swim, nice pullback in possession, and looks like Zoe Canavan there.
Oh dear.
A little bit of a loose pass and a little bit hungry from the fullback there coming in, actually spilling that puck to the corridor. Support coming from the sub-bench. Good bottom time there, though. I think that's Phoebe Stewart who's backed up that initial issue but she stayed down. She's managed to find the kooky left-hander there as KTB decides that the flick and drive into 2 players is the best option. And we're going to see, so a little bit overly exuberant there from KTB as she flicks and chases that one.
It's one of those things, Nick, once you are under the pump, and it's kind of unique to our game in a lot of ways, lack of oxygen, actually it makes those decisions really, really hard to make. And sometimes you'll see players doing things that don't seem to be the best option. It's because it gets very, very hard once you get very fatigued.
Yeah, especially, all the extra concentration it takes to be a left-hander.
Oh, exactly right. Just on a normal day, it's she's doing well. So
I'm amazed she can make it out of bed and do stuff with her left hand at all. So,
props to her. She's playing very well. Great attacking drive from her in this game so far. We've seen as the Aussies pin it against that sub bench again. Happy just to sit there and reload, and in comes the Gangle. So maybe they'll be on the front foot now as Hannah swims across, ready to rejoin the play, Nick. Yeah,
we've got a signal on the deck here from the referee on the near side. We're going obstruction, so just as that Spanish player lost the puck behind him there, Papa, they've just owned the bottom for a little bit too long, needed to give up that real estate and let the Australian player through, so chance for the Aussies to get it out of their defensive half for the first time in this second half, Papa.
Sharing is caring, and we all know the Spanish dabbled with a little bit of communism in the kind of late 80s, so perhaps this is, we're seeing those roots just coming through as the Australians drive hard on that left-hand side. Good reload, great possession there. I think it's one of the Sarahs, either Tyndall or Walker.
I think that's Sarah Tyndall there, is it?
She's reloaded back to the Gangle, who's kept possession, sliding it back to the fullback. But then it's congested, and it looks like an Australian right wing has managed to nick off with the puck, which is good for the Australians.
Yeah, they're just having a little bit of trouble every now and then getting some connection. A lovely pullback and inside from Hannah there. Not that I'm biased at all, but then failing to protect it and getting dispossessed. Yes, Yvonne, Jack and I are cheap. There is no doubt about that. And shout out to the Mendoza City Club in Argentina, our favourite, one of our favourite Argentinians. Nick knew he was onto a winner. 2 Robertissos for the price of 1. Yep. That is true. The question is, did I go through Jack to get to Hannah, or did I go through Hannah to get to Jack? That's obviously the age old. And we've got a little bit of discussion going on here between the referees.
It is a timeout for Spain, I believe, Nick. I didn't see the quality of the timeout call from the Spanish coach, so I can't comment at this point. But the Australians going for a looser kind of huddle.
Yep. Some good head nodding from Eden going on there. She's gone for the kind of kicking up out of the water a little bit. Good kind of motivated head nod. So that seems to have got the players into position early. So
good to see the referee very, very tight in the Australian huddle as well, getting involved, maybe just getting a bit too sucked into that Australian team spirit.
Wrong buzzer. I've gone underwater prematurely, Jack. That does tend to happen quite often. So we'll see.
Nothing new for you there, Nick. As we look for the refs to restart the game.
So this is really the first bite at the apple the Aussies have had in this second half. Good follow-up from Zoe Canavan.
Choosing to reload that central corridor drive very early on, despite the fact a lot of her players had already set their bodies up for that lateral drive, Nick. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication, or maybe a bit of deliberate deception.
Oh, interesting call. I don't know if we've seen a warning for gloving against Spain, but we've got a Spanish player being thrown for 1 minute there. Gloving infringement, and it is the Spanish number 15. As we now see the Aussies a little bit slow to get set up on that free puck, giving the Spanish players time to get down. It's been chipped into the Gangle. And good drive on the tray. Some angry drive in there by the number 4. And she's good bottom time. Stayed and lurked.
Eliza Gang, the goal machine, proving that she can do it not only in the open water.
We'll go to the surface. We'll look at the referees. Looks like we've got 3 referees signalling goals. And the Aussie crowd is going bananas in the stands. And
a little bit of discourse there from the referees.
Okay, all right. We had 3 signals, and now we've got a ref's timeout and a slight change of mind.
The refs here having a bit of a discussion, a ref's conference, Nick. First, we've really made note of that in this game so far.
Yeah, obviously that third ref must have been out of the screenshot and we couldn't see, so...
Gloving, chopping.
Yeah, playing advantage. A little bit of free arm was the first signal. There was some obstruction in there as well. One of the little problems I have with these little refs conferences is the longer you talk about the game, the more certain you are to find something eventually to be able to pull it up for. So
Exactly right,
I think the refs really need to trust their instincts and go with what they see and just play the puck as they see it at the time. So unfortunately for the Australians and luckily for the Spanish there, they have found a cheating option that the Australian girls have taken, and the Spanish get a chance here to get this puck out. But Australia straight away dispossessed, and they're looking for the swing/switch as we see, nice little move back inside from the kooky left-hander there, and the Gangles got it, but once again just hesitating and getting dispossessed there. Got to get those legs moving. Good bottom time from the Spanish girls lurking on the side, but the Gangle has stayed down and repossessed it, and it's reloaded to Tori Wickham on the 45, who's now dumped it back to the speed of Eliza Game, who just gets a head dropped on her. And the Badger now back into the corridor. The Aussie girls doing a good job of just controlling the outsides here, Papa, and recycling the corridor.
Yeah, they are really willing to go back on the inside once that kind of aggressive drive has started, and it has served them well, but has also lost them the puck a little bit as they go to reload again.
Zoe.
She's got options on the inside, and she's chosen Eliza Game, who's very handily just chipped through that player. She's got great goal sense, Nick, and she's really brought it to this tournament so far for the Aussie women.
Yes, and I must apologise to everyone out there for my celebratory goal yelling. It's not good to not be an impartial commentator in this. Unlucky for the Spanish there, Jack, but a little bit nervous. Obviously, I was coming into this game. It's a big game for me, big game for you, obviously, Jack. How do you deal with the nerves before a game like this?
Look, for me, Nick, it's a slightly different equation. You know, obviously there's a bit of sibling rivalry, and as much as I want my sister to be successful, if she's not successful, then that works for me as well in its own kind of twisted way. So as we see another kickoff for the Aussie women.
Unlucky for the Spanish there. They have been playing a good, strong first half of this second half, and unfortunately they were unable to capitalise on that, and the Aussie girls have managed to put another one in. So big last 6 minutes here for the Spanish girls to see if they can bring this one back.
It's one of those things, Nick. In the first half, you could almost say the Spanish actually did have the upper hand and were unlucky to not score in that first half, and it has turned around a little bit in the second half. The Spanish getting a little bit fatigued, maybe dropping their heads a little bit, and the Aussie women just capitalising on that. As we see a really big, deep pullback and maybe a touch of the barge as that Spanish woman keeps control of the puck in the centre, and the Australian fullback just missing that hit and potentially giving away a lot of pull before it's recovered there by halfback.
Yeah, I think that was the off half, Caitlin Turnbull coming in there. And it looks like Phoebe Stewart's going to get 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike. I think there was enough angle on that Spanish swim there where she's swimming away from the Aussie back that she's just protecting the puck in that instance, in my view, Jack. And it's just up to the Australians to hold their position on the other side and be patient and wait for the steal. But great drive from two of the Spanish girls, and they've put themselves in an excellent opportunity to score here with the Australian fullback on the bench for 2 minutes, Papa.
Yeah, Phoebe Stewart, of course, a very important part of that Australian defensive structure. And with her out of the water, it could be goal time for the Spanish.
It'll be interesting to see the call on this one, Papa, because that's a 50-50 for me as to whether that's an illegal knockdown or a dangerous flick. The Badger there with really nowhere else to go, no option to move out of the way of the puck. The players flick them into them. If neither player gets any advantage from it, for me, that's a play on. Like, it's not really dangerous. It's not a deliberate illegal stop. It's just actually a bad flick from the person taking the puck.
It is the hardest thing for a referee to do, which is nothing.
Good catch from the Badger there as the Australian girls very late to get down and defend that free puck, and very lucky that Alice has made that catch. Otherwise, they were in serious trouble. Unfortunately for the Spanish, though, not able to maintain that aggressive pressure there, Papa.
Yeah, the Spanish unlucky there. They did all the right things, and Alice just managing to get one of her little Badger paws in front of that puck and hold it out.
Yeah, she was down in the burrow early for that one, unlike the rest of her team, who were all having a tea party on the surface. As we see Razor Bats jumping in with a shameless plug for himself with his YouTube name there, Papa. One of the local Tassie players, where a lot of these Australian girls hail from, and obviously one of the main suppliers of the wooden sticks in Australia, and also the man lucky enough to be looking after my dog while I'm over here, Papa. So shout out to the whole Bridley/Sale family, as nice little inside fake and outside release from Marie there. Wing tried to do the same thing and got held up though, Papa.
Yeah, she did, but she did have support running on the inside, which is the really good thing about how the Aussies are playing today. Even when they are taking contestable options, they've got support around the puck, which is really, really good to see. It's not something I've seen in, or maybe not to this extent in previous games. So the Aussie women obviously coming into this game with a lot of intent, knowing it's going to be very hard fought and being rewarded for that extra effort on the bottom.
Yeah, look, great focus from both teams, I think, in executing their game plan, and certainly the Australian girls working hard for each other. And it's great to see them keeping it simple, playing a really simple brand of hockey at the moment. And a few players that previous in the tournament have been caught hanging onto it they're releasing some good options. And credit to the Spanish girls, they're really getting down on the bottom and making a contest of this is what has been a beautiful 27 minutes of hockey so far, Jack, with 3 to go. It's starting to be do or die time for the Spanish, where they really need to get one in. As we see the Australians taking a free puck, and once again, that strong 45 into the corridor, Papa.
Yeah, this is a quality Spanish outfit, and I think the danger here, as we saw before when the Spanish had a free puck in front of goals for the Aussies, is if they take their foot off the gas, this Spanish outfit will get on top of them quicker than you can say, oh my God, what's happening, we're losing this game. So the Aussies really need to stay focused for these last 3 minutes, otherwise it will become a contest very quickly.
As we see there, your sister getting a 2-minute penalty for a stick infringement on that one, Papa, in what looked to be just a hard-fought contest on the bottom. As we see the Badger going out of her burrow alone at that one, with the rest of the team screening behind, and the Spanish getting good numbers in front of the puck, but unable to release it through, and the Badger has stayed down. Excellent bottom time from Alice there, Jack.
She's pulled it back, she's tucked it, and then she's released. Always a frustrating thing when you're trying to cover a player and they just keep protecting it. So well done by the Badger there. Yeah, Hannah in the bin again, and it's becoming a bit of a habit of hers. And as much as she is that very large gangly frame, at some point she's going to have to pull those limbs in and stop getting them tangled up.
It's a good pluck and support there from Marie to pull that one out as the Australian back and clear it towards their sub-bench. Strong hit from the Australian forward there, Alice Vanderwood, but unable to get her way through. And we're getting stick infringement against España here. And we're going to get 1 minute for the Spanish girl there, which is unfortunate as they did have a lovely drive going on there.
Yeah.
We've seen a few vamuses in the chat there, the Spanish people getting behind it. 122 people watching, Jack, listening to the dulcet tones of yourself, as Eliza Game receives it from the half there, and the Aussie girls looking just to close this one over to the wall, Papa.
Yeah, and they have, and they've brought it in and then they've cut it off, as they have been doing really well all game, and the Spanish just desperate to cut that movement down. I'm just noting from that previous shot, you could see Bridie Hilda on the side of the pool, very talented young player, sitting out this game, and she's a real one to watch for the future, Nick.
Absolutely. She's been a great supporter of this team in her role on the side there, as we see a strong swim. I think that's Zoe Canavan there. The Canavan of courage just getting away on that one. As we've got a signal. Oh, you've got to love it when they pull it up. And okay, we got a bit of referee, a little bit of an argument going on here.
Look, that is a big call from the referee. And you talk about the effect.
One's given us the free puck though, Papa. We've got a free puck for us signalled by the front referee and a free puck for them by the back referee. But you'd have to think a bit of advantage wouldn't hurt there, Pups.
Yeah, look, the referee had a lot of options there. Two Australian players swimming a puck to the goals against a single Spanish player with the puck on their bat. Any sort of call at that point, bar a very kind of deliberate foul, is a really big intervention by the ref.
Vamos España from Matt Nunn there, obviously not supporting the colonies, being an Englishman there. It's disappointing to see. You know, we've stayed with the monarchy and he's disowned us. But as 30 seconds to go, it's just going to be an unfortunate knockout here for the Spanish girls. They have played valiantly and defended strong, but unlucky not to convert a couple options as the Aussies try and put one last conciliatory goal in, but once again, good strong defence from Spain. But with 10 seconds left in the game, the referees have pulled this up, and it's going to go against the Australian girls. It's not going to have a huge impact on the outcome of the game here, Jack. With 9 seconds left, Australia are going to advance through the first of the women's knockout games with a 2-0 victory over the Spanish in what has been a fantastic exhibition of hockey from both teams, Papa.
Yeah, look, Nick, the fat lady is not singing, but she's certainly warming up with just 5 seconds to play. And the Spanish team, very unlucky, I think, in a lot of ways, Nick, that they have met these Aussie girls at their ascension. Hats off to the Aussie girls. They've really played out of their skins this game as they needed to, and the Spanish just unlucky to be the team at the end of that.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't say they've played out of their skins, Papa. I'd say they've shown good progressions throughout the tournament, and they've really developed each game. And I think this is the best execution we've seen of their game plan so far. And it was great to see a few players in there just keeping it simple and committing to opening it up for the Australian girls and playing the brand they wanted to. For the Spanish, a fantastic, valiant effort, and unlucky not to put 1 or 2 in there a couple of times. Got good numbers behind the puck, but just couldn't quite execute their A game today. But they are certainly a team that is on the rise, and they'll be one to watch in the rest of these knockout stages. As we'll just throw some shout-outs to the booth there. Matt Nunn, yes, we do love everyone. We do love everyone here, Matt. There's no anger from us towards anybody. Nick Payne chiming in with good luck for our game for this evening. Well done to the Aussies from Dougie Parkinson there. Sam, cheers for the commentary. Zoe Connor, nice one. Australia, just bringing the tone down a little bit there for everyone. Look, congratulations to both these teams. Jack, good luck with your game this afternoon. And I think we'll try and grab someone poolside.
That's right, Nick. See everybody later. As here we have the Australian captain, Hannah Robert-Tisso, fresh off her win in that first game of the knockouts. Hannah, how did it feel in there?
Oh, it was a really tough game. The Spanish girls are really physical, and I think we've been playing a lot of countries where they have been playing quite down the wall, and the Spanish have their kind of driving game through the middle. So we weren't adapting to that. We were taking what we'd learnt from the other games, so we were kind of taking it back into them through the middle. I think we made it pretty hard work for ourselves, but we had some really good performances from some of our players.
I have to say, it looked really good from the commentary box. You guys were using backline and forward line switches. You were getting caught in the middle a little bit in those contests, but you had really good support when that happened. Was that part of the plan?
I think we hoped to play a little bit more open and probably swim a little bit further wide before we brought it back into the middle. I think we did have some positional changes to have that support through the middle, which was really good, but hopefully we can clear it out a bit more effectively next time tomorrow.
A few of your girls spending a bit of time in the bin, and for you it seems to be becoming a bit of a habit. Is that something that crosses your mind when you go into a game?
Not really. I think I hold my space quite effectively on the bottom of the pool, and I think because of that, often it can be seen as something happening. So we will look at that, but I think for us it's more about focusing on what the team can do more effectively.
That's right, Hannah. You've got a lot of fans back home watching. Sam Thompson, Yvonne Biffin, a lot of other Biffins. Razor, of course, looking after your dog at the moment, also watching and commenting on the stream. Do you have anything to say to those guys?
Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate your support, and it's always great to grow the sport through the streaming. So thank you so much for your support and writing up on the commentary as well. So it's awesome. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Hen. I was hoping to find a Spanish player, but it looks like they've all vamos. So thanks very much. We're done.
Okay, I'll do that.
He'll be down.
You want one or two?
They need two. We only have one. Oh, from the U.S.?
They want one or two more.
Do you want, Eric, do you want one or two more?
So says Mr. Greg. He wanted it to be known.
I need to see. Oh, yeah. You just go to YouTube, they're all on there. If there's something wrong with the video there, we've also got copies here.